In the year 1965, Pakistan's army attacked India and war broke out. Now, this war was restricted largely to the Western Front and the Northern Front. But a small incident happened in Dwarka which led to Pakistan celebrating that date as their National Navy Day. What had happened was that on 7th September 1965, 7 Pakistani warships led by the PNS Babur led a stealth attack on the Dwarka port. They believed that there was an Indian Air Force radar system in Dwarka which was guiding our fighter jets to bomb Pakistan. And if they destroyed this radar, then our communication system would break down and they would be able to win the war in the Northern Front. That was their belief. Did a radar station actually exist there? It probably did. Or maybe it didn't. No one knows. But what happened was, on the night of 17th September, PNS Babur led 6 Pakistani ships and they came about 100 nautical miles or 50 nautical miles close to the Indian coast near Bet Dwarka with the intention of attacking us. Coincidentally, one of our naval warships, INS Talwar, was at that time docked at Bet Dwarka for repairs. And even though it was docked there for repairs, obviously its radar and their attacking systems, their gunning systems were all functional. And the ship detected the presence of the Pakistani flotilla. So they relayed the information to the political masters, to the rulers of our country in 1965, the Prime Minister and his cabinet, that we see 7 Pakistani warships approaching our coast. What do we do? Now please understand, at this point in time, India and Pakistan were already at war. Typically when you're at war with someone and you see your enemy coming, the logical thing would be to attack. But for whatever reasons, the Indian political leadership in 1965 gave instructions that do not attack them. Unless they attack you first, please don't be the first one to attack them. That was the instruction that the captain of the INS Talwar received. The 7 Pakistani ships came and took their positions, and at midnight on 7th September, they started firing heavy shells on Dwarka. Close to 50 odd shells were fired, out of which it is believed that only 2 or 3 exploded. The rest of them were just darts. Let's take a pause here and go back to 1947. As you all must be knowing, in 1947, India was partitioned. The country was split into 2, Pakistan and India. India, at that time, under some misplaced benevolence, gifted Pakistan a lot of arms and armament and money. Of course, Pakistan used that same money and armaments to repeatedly attack India, but that's another story for another day. Suffice to say that in 1965, when they were firing over Dwarka, they were using the same shells that we had gifted them in 1947. For whatever reason, either the shells were not stored properly or they didn't know how to fire them or how to use them. We don't really know the reason for it, but out of the 50 odd shells that Pakistan fired, only 2 exploded and ended up killing a poor cow that happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was no other damage caused other than a couple of buildings, unoccupied buildings, getting shattered. Most of the shells overshot the town of Dwarka and fell about 10 kilometers away. Now, our understanding, or the Indian forces' understanding, is the reason for this to happen is that when the Pakistani flotilla, the 7 ships came and took position, at that time it was low tide. So the ships were slightly lower. By the time they decided to fire, high tide had set in, so the ships were higher. Now obviously when you shoot from a higher position, you shoot for a longer distance. So when they shot at night during high tide, without realizing it, they overshot Dwarka and the shells landed in fields and nobody was killed. What about INS Talwar? The instructions were pretty clear: do not attack the Pakistani flotilla till they attack you first. Despite the Pakistani flotilla firing on Dwarka, the captain of INS Talwar, in his infinite wisdom, chose not to attack back. His rationale probably was that I am not being attacked directly, so I should not fire back. Whatever is the reason, the Pakistani Navy fired their shells, turned around and went back to Karachi port completely unharmed. Their invasion was just a nuisance, but it was a complete failure. There was no damage caused on the Indian end at all. What, however, did happen was that they went back and told their masters that we went, attacked and came back safely. It's a great victory for us. And so the Pakistani forces celebrate September 7th as their National Navy Day, all of which is fine. One of the most positive outcomes of this insignificant attack for India was that the Indian rulers woke up. Our political masters realized if we do not strengthen our navy, then we are vulnerable. And thankfully, good sense prevailed. Since then, they have worked diligently with Russia and our other allies in acquiring naval defense systems, acquiring warships and submarines, and ensuring that today we have one of the most powerful navies in the world. All thanks to Operation Dwarka.